It's music theory. Online, let's learn some theory. Online, by watching modules. Online, with music theory. Online.
Hi everyone, here we are in Module 13 of the Junior Music course. Today we'll be analyzing some music. As music students and as performers, we're analyzing our music every time we learn a new piece. In theory, we're simply writing down those answers. The sort of things you may be asked are to name the composer, name the key, name the title of the piece, and to identify terms and signs. You'll also be asked to identify notation markings like slurs, fermatas, double bar lines, and staccatos. What's a little bit different in theory is that you may be asked to find or name technical degrees of the scale, to identify intervals, to identify triads, to find and name triads. This is where everything that you've learned in theory is being applied to real music. You may also be asked to find phrases, 2 or 4 measure phrases, to find the bass notes and melody that might indicate a perfect or plagal cadence. Often you'll find where the cadences are because the rhythm slows down at cadence points. To mark the 2 bass notes of the cadence with the bracket, and then write the numerals in the cadence name as well. Again, we're applying everything that you're learning in theory and taking it into real music. Here's a piece of music that you can now analyze. What's the key of this passage? It's in the key of C minor. The B naturals are the raised leading notes. What is the relative major? The answer would be E flat major. What's the sign at the letter J? It's hard to see, but if you look really hard, you'll see a fermata. There's an interval to identify at A, and it's from E flat to G. Remember to always look at the key signature, because E flat to G is a major third because of that flat. The sign at K is a natural, and the chord at F is a GBD chord, which is a G major triad. Don't worry, you'll only be asked questions of things that you've learned in junior theory, so there'll be absolutely no surprises. This example just shows the kinds of questions and answers that may be required. Where the letter A is marked, it says andante, so you could be asked, what does andante mean? At the letter B, the P has a square around it. What does piano or P mean? At C, we have a crescendo, so that would be your answer is crescendo, and what does it mean? Gradually getting louder. At D, we have a decrescendo, and again, you know all of this, so it's just going over what you've already learned in theory and applying it to real music. At E, we have an accent, and the reason that the middle C is circled is because it's a ledger line note. So the question may have been find and circle a ledger line. Sometimes you'll be asked to find a whole tone or a chromatic semitone or a diatonic semitone. In this example, a whole tone was what was asked for. We also have a melodic minor second in the next measure right here. So you may have been asked to find a minor second in the example. We're in the key of F major, and you may be asked to find the dominant triad. And in this case, the dominant triad is here. In F major, that's a C major triad. The eighth rest is circled at the end because that was probably one of the things that would have been asked for. And the slur is marked as well. So those are the sorts of things that you'll be asked to find when you're analyzing your music. Let's look at this slide where we have a piece by Mozart called German Dance. Here are some of the questions that you may have. What does allegro mean? Allegro means fairly quick, isn't it? What key is this in? It's in the key of C major. You may be asked to identify and circle a C major triad. Another question may be to label and identify a cadence. And here's where your cadence would be. You may be asked to find specific intervals, for example, to find and label a major third, or to find and label a perfect fifth. You may be asked how many measures are in this piece of music. If you are, you'd also have to remember that there are repeat dots. So this would be 32 measures is what you're looking at. You may be asked to find a slur. You may be asked to find a harmonic major third. You may be asked to find and circle a dynamic marking that means medium quiet. So there's lots of things in this one piece of music that you would be able to find and identify. And it all relates back to the theory that we're learning. Let's examine this passage. First of all, what key is it in? It's in the key of F major. Can you find and label a cadence? Here we find a perfect cadence. What does DC affine mean? It means go back to the beginning, da capo, and play until you see the fine or fine sign. Can you find and label a one chord? Can you find a perfect unison? It's right here. There are many questions that can be asked, but as I said before, nothing that we haven't already covered in theory. So again, analysis is just bringing together everything you've been learning in your theory modules. You just really need to think through every question because you know the answers. So for homework this week, you can answer more questions. Of course, if you have questions, just let me know. Remember, I'm here to help you every step of the way. I hope to see you at Theory Club this week. Have a super duper week. Bye for now.
It's music theory. Online, let's learn some theory. Online, by watching modules. Online, with music theory. Online.